Here I have a layer that is clipped to what's underneath, and let's see what it's doing. Okay, I know what problem I had here. Do you remember the checkbox called decontaminate colors? How decontaminate colors grabs the colors that are a little bit inside your image and pushes them out into the semi-transparent areas on the edges. Well, when I did that to this particular picture, I ended up with some problems. What happened is, this is more like what the original colors look like, and if you were to move a little bit inside from where these fuzzy details are, you might run into this flower. And if it takes that color and pushes it out into the edge, you might end up with pink fuzzy things out here instead of the white that they should have been. So if I turn this off, do you see how it's pink on the edge? That was me using decontaminate colors to try to fix things. And the decontaminate colors was useful for part of the image, but in other parts it screwed up, like where these suddenly turned pink. Okay? So let me show you how you fix that. If you ever use decontaminate colors, it's useful in some areas and it's not in others. How do we fix it? Well, you remember when we had decontaminate colors turned on a picture, and I looked at the bottom of the Refine Edge dialog box where I have the choice of what kind of end result I want. It forced me to have a duplicate layer. It would not deliver it on the original layer. It always did it to a duplicate. Well, let's look at how that can be useful, what we can do with it. There's some things that have already been done in this image, and I'm going to turn some of them off. Take me just a moment. Okay, so here we have this layer. That's the layer that's had the Refine Edge applied to it, that had decontaminate colors turned on. And this is the original. What we can do is put the original on top. If we turn on its eyeball, you'd see that it has the original background and everything. And we can clip it to what's underneath to say, make this only show up where the layer is that's underneath. So I can hold down the Option key, Alt and Windows, click on the line between the two layers, or the other method for doing it was to come up here and choose Create Clipping Mask. They do the same thing. So now what we have is the original colors used in here. If I turn off the eyeball on it, we have the version that's underneath, which is the one that had decontaminate colors turned on. So we have two versions. We can now switch back and forth. The main thing is the original image is being clipped to the version that's underneath. Then we can add a layer mask, and with the layer mask we can determine where is this version used, that is the original colors, and where is this version used, which is the one that has decontaminate colors used. And we do that with a mask. Here I have a mask, so I can turn it on and off to see exactly where it was used, but I'll zoom out and just overlay it. Do you see those little areas where you don't see red? That's where I chose to use the original colors within the image. The areas where you don't see this little gap is where I needed the decontaminate colors. And what that tells me is I probably needed it in a very small area over on the left side. So what was the takeaway there as far as how to do things? Well, whenever you use decontaminate colors, you always get the original setting there. And then you have the version you just made. Take the original, put it on top, and clip it to the version that used decontaminate colors. Then you can add a layer mask and control exactly where it's used and where it's not. And that's something that is not uncommon. Yeah. Let me turn this off. So if you want to see where it was in this particular case, if I use the original colors everywhere, meaning I just grab the layer that was underneath, which is original, put it on top and clip it, it would have looked like this. And if you look at the hair right here by the ear and right up in here, that's it being used everywhere. Then I use a mask to say, no, I want to use the part that used decontaminate colors in this area, but not anywhere else. Then I end up with that. See how that edge looked better with decontaminate colors, but if I use decontaminate colors everywhere, up at the top, it didn't look right. You see the pink stuff up at the top? So that is one fix. Then another thing that I sometimes need to do is where we have these frizzy edges, I might need to fix them. And this would be similar to what we did on the previous picture of the same child. And that was, remember, at the very top of the head, I ended up having a layer, and I ended up painting on it to just say, let's grab some color from the background and kind of put it in. Well, I have one of those in here too. Let me turn it on so you can see. Do you see the right and left side of the fuzzy part just above the head? How before this looked just too bright and, I don't know, a little bit like it didn't match. And then this is after, where I just toned it down a little bit. And what that is just some color from the background. Painted just over that a little bit to get it to blend in a little more.